what's happening in the UK. Okay, well, Boris Johnson has now resigned as Conservative leader. He will remain as Prime Minister until the Conservative Party will have a new leader in place. And speculation is that it will be by fall time. So this is big news, as there's been months and months of scandal that has plagued the British Prime Minister for quite some time. Even though he survived a vote of confidence last month, well, this is his fate. He has made his announcement today. We do have bites from his announcement at 10 Downing Street. Well, essentially, he plans on staying on as leader until party members select their next successor. But this has come at a time where we're hearing that Conservative members of Parliament in the UK want him to leave immediately and be replaced by an interim leader. So they don't even want him to govern and stay at the helm of things until there's an interim leader that could be in place until the party puts their new leader, their official leader, who then will be Prime Minister. So we're not talking about an election that would take place in the United Kingdom. We're talking about the sitting Prime Minister resigning as the leader of the Conservative Party, which then, when there is a new leader of the Conservative Party, who the people have elected in place for a massive majority mandate, will then become Prime Minister. And that would mean that Boris Johnson will step aside from his entire political career as Prime Minister. So that's quite shocking, and that's a big blow to his career. Now, when it comes to the rules, well, only Conservative MPs can run in the leadership contest, and the caucus will meet within days now to select two candidates, we're told, and the party members will then vote to select the leader, and that's likely going to be next month, which is why there'll be a leader in place by fall time, since now we're halfway through the summer months. Now, Boris Johnson has been plagued with those series of scandals that we've been seeing in the news that we've been covering here, as well as on Y Media. If you recall, it was because of the dozens of social gatherings that he had on 10 Downing Street when the entire country was on lockdown, part of his mandates. So it was do as I say, not as I do situation, and that scandal was revealed, which was shocking for people. And if you recall, during the Queen's Platinum Jubilee celebration, which was just last month when Boris Johnson appeared, you could hear boos from the public who were there to celebrate the Queen. But when he made the appearance, well, we kind of felt what the people were feeling with the loud boos that you could hear from the crowds. But then it followed just earlier this week that there were sexual assault sort of allegations when it came to the former deputy Conservative MP, Chris Pincher, who's been, essentially it raised the issue again just recently because the other MPs believe that Boris Johnson overlooked Mr. Pincher's behavior, allegations that stemmed from how he behaved at a nightclub, and it's a whole nother scandal of its own. But essentially, they thought that Boris Johnson was blind to his behavior, and regardless, appointed him as Deputy Chief Whip, which escalated the calls of him to resign. The scandal also prompted Conservative MPs, if you recall, last month to hold a leadership review. And in that, Mr. Johnson received essentially a backing of a majority of his MPs. But but still a big number of them wanted him gone. So that was 148 or 40% of his caucus voted for him to resign. So when 40% of your caucus doesn't want you there, that's telling. And then that came just yesterday when there was a resignation by his health minister and his finance minister. Two big roles in a country after, well, I guess we're still in a pandemic because we're talking about a seventh wave here in Ontario. But when your health minister steps down and your finance minister, who's really your right-hand person in cabinet, when they step down and they say that they don't believe in your leadership, and then that prompted many more ministers and his caucus people to step down from various positions, which essentially put him in a situation where he could not govern when you're not supported by your own caucus. We have his speech on 10 Downing Street. Take a look.
Good afternoon. Thank you. It is clearly now the will of the Parliamentary Conservative Party that there should be a new leader of that party and therefore a new Prime Minister. And I've agreed with Sir Graham Brady, the chairman of our backbench MPs, that the process of choosing that new leader should begin now. And the timetable will be announced next week. And I've today appointed a cabinet to serve, as I will, until a new leader is in place. So I want to say to the millions of people who voted for us in 2019, many of them voting Conservative for the first time, thank you for that incredible mandate, the biggest Conservative majority since 1987, the biggest share of the vote since 1979.
That was Prime Minister Boris Johnson, who has now resigned as leader of the Conservative Party and will be replaced as Prime Minister in the coming months. This speech that he gave today was after months of him staying defiant and refusing to resign, even though there were calls by his cabinet ministers who resigned in the past few days and parliamentary secretaries to quit. And he said that it would be irresponsible if he steps down, but the pressure grew overnight. And today, here we have it on his resignation. Now, when it comes to who could potentially succeed him, we're not sure about who could be that, who could be those two MPs, although there are circulations in terms of rumors that it could be expected to be Mr. Raab, as well as his former Chancellor, Rishi Sunak, the former Health Minister, Sajid Javid, and the Foreign Secretary, Liz Truss. So between them, we'll see who will be put forward, and we'll go through the first round of votes when it comes to the caucus and then put forward to the members. Now, his resignation is, a tough one for his political career. He did rise to the ranks in a very short period of time. Well, just to give you a little background on who Boris Johnson is, tune in to Y Media special report later today. We're going to go through his history of who he is, what his upbringing was, and what his political history has been like, and what it means for him today, and what it also means for the Conservative Party in the United Kingdom and for the country that still has another year until a general election is in place.